flour, water, salt, and yeast. And there is nothing more satisfying when these ingredients are mixed together and kneaded and given time to rise than shaped, baked, and tasted. Bread making for me has been a lifelong interest and love. In recent years, it has also become a spiritual practice. And for the faith community I serve, it has become central to our identity and our mission. By all accounts, organized religion in America is in decline. And this is particularly true for mainline Protestant churches. Like many congregations, White Bear Lake United Methodist Church, where I serve, has been wrestling with the question, so what next? Several years ago, we responded to that question by building a community bread oven and shaping faith and community one loaf of bread at a time. Now, the idea for this was born in 2009. I applied for a sabbatical grant through the Lilly Endowment. The application is extensive, but there's essentially one question you need to answer. Lilly asks, what will make your heart sing? What a lovely question. I don't know anybody that I'd ever been asked that question before, and never by anybody who was willing to fund whatever would make my heart sing. I received a grant which made it possible for me, my wife, and our son Brennan, I still love this trip, to spend 2 months in Italy and France, where I learned artisan bread making from local bakers, and where I studied the history of ancient ovens. This one is in a small village in France. Now, community bread ovens were a key part of village life between the 14th and 19th centuries in much of Europe. In most villages, they had a large stone oven at its very center. And once a week, that oven was fired. And then villagers would bring dough made at home to the center of the village. It would be loaded into the oven hearth. And as it baked, men and women would share family news. They'd talk about local events, debate politics. They built community. I began to wonder, could this traditional way find resonance in my 21st century suburban community? The next summer, our congregation decided to build a community oven. Now, it wasn't as though the whole congregation was smitten with the idea the way I was smitten with the idea, but there were at least 40 volunteers who over the course of 3 months built a beautiful oven. And it's a large oven. It'll bake 20, 25 loaves of bread at a time. And in the 3.5 years we've been using that oven, we have discovered that bread making in a communal oven nourishes the social and spiritual needs of young and old, of religious and non-religious. And I think a big part of this is because we live in a hurry-up world. Speed and efficiency are highly valued. It is said that Himalayan Sherpas, who encourage and push and pace climbers toward a mountain summit, will suddenly stop along the journey, set down their equipment, as if waiting for something or someone. It's disconcerting to many of the Westerners. Why this sudden break? And so they ask, why have you stopped? And one of the Sherpas will say, we're waiting for our souls to catch up with our bodies. Bread making offers a similar lesson. It is a slow art. It requires an intentional rhythm of work and rest, effort, and then rising. Now, when this tempo is honored, the dough acquires the strength it needs to withstand the intense heat of the oven. When the tempo is honored, the complex flavors hidden within the flour emerge and combine. And I think we, like bread, need an intentional rhythm if we are to be strengthened for our living in this world, and we are to be the flavor the world needs. There's something quite mystical in this process, a transformation. The finished loaf is greater than the sum of these very basic parts. We've learned there's a hunger to practice simplicity. It's evident in the bread classes we offer at the church. I do this with the Mahtomedi resident Ross Safford. There's a hunger for connection, and that's obvious when we host a pizza night on a summer's night, and people come and listen to live music, enjoy fresh baked pizza and conversation. And there's a hunger to offer ourselves for the sake of others. 4 times a year, Catholic Charities of the Twin Cities offers a culinary skills training program for homeless men and women. It's a 10-week training to equip those men and women with the skills needed to find employment in the food service industry. And just one day out of those 10 weeks, they come to our church where we make and break bread together. And it is one of the most wonderful days we have. There's a kinship formed between our suburban congregation and these men and women. We teach them a skill, but I think, more importantly, they teach us about resiliency and hope. It's said that Jesus once fed 5,000 with just a few loaves of bread. For all our emphasis on bread and all the bread we've made, we've learned that bread alone does not draw multitudes, but pizza can. Last summer, during Manitou Days in White Bear Lake, we partnered with the neighboring Lutheran church. They had a huge community garage sale, and we offered lunch, which was a free slice of pizza to whoever came. And in 2 hours, we served almost 900 people. Our vision as a congregation, provide nourishment for the hungers of life. I invite you to come and join us for a bread class on a summer's night and enjoy pizza with others. I'd invite you to come and volunteer at any of our community outreach events. You don't need any experience with bread, we'll teach you. But most importantly, I encourage you to find and practice that rhythm that gives you life. So, what's next for the Community Bread Oven? Well, we're working on 2 things. One is to share brick oven bread with those who hunger in our community. We have used our oven to help foster community awareness of hunger, also to raise funds for local groups as they reach out to others. But we want to share more of the good bread that we make, because why shouldn't everyone enjoy the finest bread? And the second thing we're doing is sharing the fun. Mike Faust, who coordinated our building effort at the church, worked with a Lutheran congregation in South Minneapolis last summer to build a community oven. This summer he's working with a congregation on the near north side of Minneapolis with an oven, and we expect other ovens to follow. And then, what next? Well, that is our prayer, to wait and see what new ideas arise. Thank you.